So I'm doing textures for my unit, and my buddy old pal McCard wanted this on this, but because its texture looks like this, it wound up looking like this instead of what we wanted, which is something like this. I'm going to show you how we fix this. So to do this, we're going to use a pretty awesome program called Substance Painter. To use that, we will require a MLOD. We're going to use a program called Substance Painter. To do this, we'll require at least two things: an FBX of the model and a texture to slap on it to get started painting on that. But first, we're also going to want to make a stamp of this image, and to do that, we're going to use GIMP. So we'll open the file with GIMP. Okay, the first thing we're going to want to do is make this we'll get rid of these corners and such by making this an alpha. So I'm going to use fuzzy select, the wand looking one. I'm going to click into the white space, and I'm actually going to click and drag. Let's see, zoom on in there until I can see the selection kind of dips into that second bar there. Didn't quite have enough reach there. I'm going to try again. Okay, I'm going to kind of look around the edge here, see if I dipped in too close on any side. But no, I like that. So I'm going to cut away all that space. Now that that area is selected, if I right click in the zone here, I can go to colors and set color to alpha. Alpha is a transparency thing. I'm going to crank this all the way up since I've already got everything that it will only affect the area that I have selected to begin with, and that'll make this transparent. I'm going to then export this as a transparent file, or a file that has transparency, I guess, an image with transparency. Call it stop trans. Not a political statement, just a file name. I don't want to make it a JPEG though, so I need to PNG. Okay. Export it, and it should pop up with a little thing. These are the settings I use, and that should save somewhere in there. It saves the transparent. I don't think I need to edit this. It's worked in the past. Let's open it. And since I can see that there's no corner there, then I'm confident that that's properly transparent. I'm going to go back to that file I just exported, and I'm going to undo what I just did. Get that white back in there. Actually, nah, I don't even need to do that. I'm going to just simply flip my selection here. No, first I'm going to just paint in black. I need to make sure my brush opacity is 100% and just boom. And force can go all the way. And that makes the background black, and I'm going to flip the selection and oops, make the ground white. So I have a little bit of like a negative image thing you see here. And I'm going to export this as a JPEG for some reason, I don't know. Actually, I'm going to try just leaving it alone for now. I'll edit this part out if I wound up doing a JPEG instead. But I'm going to call this negative. And I'm going to export it as well. So real quick, let's look at the texture file. The original texture file, we can pop it open and we can see that it's size 2 megabytes. I believe that's equivalent to that, 2048 resolution. We'll want to select the model. I won't be showing you how to rip models here, but go ahead and go into here and grab the one that I pulled out earlier. And I'll just say OK to that. And we have the helmet in Substance Painter. Get a texture file on this. So here I'm going to grab several things. Let's see here. The tutorial folder. So I'm going to want I'm going to want the converted texture. I'm not sure if, I don't think Substance Painter will take the Arma texture. So I've turned that texture into a PNG. I'm going to want this and this, and that's it for now. I'm going to just pop them on down here. Alright, and for these I'm going to say, so I want the texture under undefined, I want that to be texture. The negative I want to be considered the alpha, which is a weird thing that it's just different people using the same words to mean different things. So the alpha is sort of like a brush stroke in text in Substance Painter, whereas it's a invisible layer in GIMP, or transparent layer. And then we want to go to this, and this is also a texture. So, and then I'm going to put that in the project I'm working on, and boom. So first I'm going to create a fill layer. And in this fill layer, I'm going to put this under the base color area. We don't need any of that. And for whatever reason, this shows material, but we're just only going to be looking at base color. So we can switch that. And then the next layer I'm going to do is a paint layer. And for alpha, I'm going to drag this over into here. And for this, or for the brush, I'm going to drag this over into, I don't need any of this. So we'll just put this into base color. And I'm going to use Alt Shift. I'm going to click to drag to snap the helmet into a position I want it. Alt middle button drags, and Alt Shift middle button or left cursor will snap it. Okay, so I have a brush where I can paint this thing now. What am I looking for here? There's an alignment. This will wrap it around here, but we want to do it from the camera so it looks like it ought to. Actually, since I made the brush, we'll see what the wrap does. And it's not quite what I was hoping it would do. Perhaps that stock neg actually does need to be exported as a JPEG. I know why, but let's try it. That didn't do it either. God damn it. Oh wait, maybe that's the wrong one. It's still fucking square. God So it's 3 a.m. and I finally figured this out. So the stamp has to be square, both in the, well, at least it seems both in the stamp itself and in the negative you create for the alpha. So you want to right click on the back, go to image, turn it to canvas size, go to 350, well, this image was 341 at its widest point, so I made it square at 350, 350, and then I centered the image, and I've already done the same for the negative. Export this. Probably doesn't have to be a JPEG, but I'm just gonna leave that alone for now. Just gonna name this something so I make sure I pick the right one. There we go. Export, we'll go back into Substance Painter and we'll re-import the file. I'll show you how that's done, how I got to that point if this doesn't work out. But it's that little projector tool over on the left side. I was able just to paint that in using that thing on the left hand side, three icons down. Project makes it easiest to find. You just click on project over here. Place my base color with this blank, and that might actually look better than the projector. I was hoping it was worth it. It even allows you to kind of mess with exactly how this thing is pasted on there. It can follow the UV, which kind of gives it a different look. Can kind of like get it square from the perspective of the camera, which is what I'm doing. But someone else's perspective, it might look just a little bit janky. But you can try different alignments and get slightly different effects based on the curvature of what you're placing a flat image onto. I just have the worst time with this fucking mouse. I can never get it just on the pixel I want it. I'd say it's DPI, but it's just so fucking jumpy. Set up a hair. Try raising that again. See what it looks like compared to the other one. Yep, see, it's projector is a little bit more camera direct than this camera stamp I just did. So it kind of stretched off into the corners as the cliff of my view started going away. Let's get this as I can. Dead now. Okay, so we want to export this thing right there in file type. PNG is fine. I'm going to go with the higher bit rate, I believe. Under size, we need to turn that to 2000. I'm only going to notice that in a little while. I don't know what any of this shit means. Supposedly we should be able just to export the base color, which is the only thing we really need, but I couldn't figure out how to only export the one I wanted there. Here I figure out how to set it to 2048. So I'll output directory there after I've exported and pull it up here. Gonna look at his texture. There it is. That's how we wanted it looking. It's pretty tricky to get that kind of curve in GIMP, but well, it's almost as much as a pain in the ass as learning how Substance Painter works. But at least now that I've done the hard part, following these steps should be actually pretty easy. It's just figuring out what to do that took hours. Alright,